The crystalline throne of Zarathos Prime hummed with an energy that had nothing to do with its ancient power cores. Queen Valara stood motionless, her four eyes fixed on the viewport, where a battered human transport vessel was making its final approach. Her translucent wings, normally kept folded in regal composure, trembled with an emotion she had forbidden herself to feel for 6 long cycles. Hope. Your luminescence, her chief advisor whispered, his mandibles clicking nervously. The human requests an immediate audience. He claims— I know what he claims, Valara interrupted, her voice barely above a whisper. Send him in. Now. The doors to the throne room opened and Sergeant Marcus Chen walked in, his combat armor scorched and dented, one arm in an improvised sling. Behind him, supported by his good arm, was a small figure wrapped in a thermal blanket. Time seemed to fracture. The blanket fell away, revealing a young Zarathi child, her wings still developing, her carapace bearing the scars of captivity. For a heartbeat, nobody moved. Then the child's eyes, the same luminescent violet as her mother's, went wide. Mom, Princess Kirazin screamed, her voice cracking with 6 cycles of pain, fear, and desperate longing. Mom, I'm back. He saved me. The Queen of Zarathos, ruler of 17 systems, commander of fleets that had fought in the War of the Burning Nebula, broke. She flew across the throne room with a speed that shattered protocol and dignity alike, her wings creating a hurricane of displaced air. She caught her daughter mid-leap, and they collapsed together onto the polished floor, their bodies intertwined, their cries of joy echoing through chambers that had known only sorrow for too long. Marcus stood at attention, trying not to intrude on the moment, even as his own eyes burned. His translator struggled to parse the mixture of Zarathi high tongue and desperate parental endearments, but some things needed no translation. The royal guard had drawn weapons instinctively when their queen had moved so suddenly, but now they too stood frozen, many with their heads bowed, their own emotions overwhelming their training. My star, Valara kept repeating, her hands running over her daughter's face, her arms, her wings, as if confirming she was real. My little star, you're alive. You're here. You're safe. Because of him, Kira said, turning her tear-stained face toward Marcus. The slavers said no one would come, that you'd forgotten me, but he came, Mom. When everyone else said I was probably dead when the Galactic Council declared the search over, he came. Valara looked up at the human soldier for the first time, truly looked at him. She saw the burns on his face, the way he favored his left leg, the haunted look in his eyes that spoke of horrors endured. His armor's damage told a story. Plasma scoring from Kravathi weapons, acid burns from Hrud traps, and the unmistakable puncture marks of Sarkonian torture implements. How? The Queen asked, rising slowly, still keeping Kira pressed close to her side. The Council deployed 3 search fleets. Our own intelligence networks found nothing. The Galactic Rangers themselves said the slavers' trail had gone cold. How did one human succeed where entire civilizations failed? Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Your Majesty, I just did what needed doing. Sergeant Chen, she said, her voice taking on the command that had ruled systems, I command you to answer. He took a breath. Ma'am, with respect, everyone else was searching for a princess. I was searching for a kid who needed to come home. The Queen's translator rendered his words in formal Zarathi, but something in the simple honesty of the statement cut through her royal reserve. The Council's fleets were impressive, Marcus continued, warming to his explanation despite himself. Big ships, proper protocols, diplomatic inquiries. They knocked on doors. They asked politely. They followed jurisdictional boundaries. His jaw tightened. I didn't have a fleet. I had a second-hand scout ship, a retired ranger who owed me a favor, and no respect for boundaries when a kid's life was on the line. He broke into 17 different criminal strongholds, Kira said, pride shining through her tears. He got captured twice. He bargained with pirates, threatened warlords, and when they told him the trail was dead. She looked at Marcus with something approaching worship. He said humans don't accept no when family is missing, even if it's not their family. Valara felt something shift in her chest. She had allied with humans during the war out of necessity. They were effective soldiers, fearless to the point of insanity, useful. But she had never truly understood them. You're not Zarathi, she said slowly. Kira wasn't your princess, your subject, your responsibility. You risked your life, nearly gave your life for a child of a species you'd only met in battle alliances. Why? Marcus met her four-eyed gaze steadily. Your Majesty, back on Earth we have a saying. Not on my watch, it means some things you just don't let happen. Not while you're still breathing. He glanced at Kira. A kid being held by slavers? That's one of those things. The Galactic Council said continuing the search was economically unfeasible. The chief advisor interjected quietly. Yeah, Marcus said, and there was something cold in his voice now. I got that memo. Filed it right next to acceptable losses and unfortunate but necessary compromises. Humans aren't great with that kind of math. Velara studied him for a long moment, then slowly extended her primary hand in the gesture of ultimate respect among her people. Sergeant Marcus Chen, you have returned my daughter, my heir, my heart. By the ancient laws of Zarathos, you have claim to any reward within my power to grant. Marcus looked uncomfortable. Ma'am, I don't need— I know, she interrupted gently. That's why you'll accept it. Her wings spread to their full magnificent span. From this day forward, humans are not merely allies of Zarathos. They are kin. Our worlds, our resources, our protection, freely given. And should any human anywhere ever need aid? Her voice rang with power and promise. Let it be known that Zarathos remembers. We remember that when our star went dark, a human brought her home. Kira had started crying again, and her mother pulled her close. Marcus stood there, this battered soldier in his damaged armor, and finally allowed himself a small, tired smile. Welcome home. Kid, he said softly, and in that moment, the Zarathi understood what made humans so terrifying, so valuable, so utterly unique in the galaxy. They cared, not just for their own, but for anyone they decided was worth caring about. And once a human decided you were worth it, entire empires couldn't make them stop. The Queen of Zarathos held her daughter and watched this human who had moved planets to bring her home. And she understood that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their stubborn, beautiful, absolutely unshakable refusal to leave anyone behind.